Pat's cave was somewhere close to here. I guess my biggest concern on this trip is I don't know if we're going to be able to get to where we're going. We have to take a road that even in the summertime in dry conditions, it's a nasty road. If there's any moisture on it whatsoever, it is a slick son of a gun. We're going to give it our best shot. Hopefully we make it. Google Maps says it takes 3.5 hours to reach this remote spot. And this time of year, it's the only way in. So why bother? For me, it all started with a single article I stumbled across years ago. It told of a man, a hermit, hiding out in what's now Dinosaur National Monument. But this wasn't just any old recluse. His life was a tangled saga of merchant ships, war, and survival on the Ivory Coast. And that's just the opening chapter. This is the story of Pat Lynch, better known as the Hermit of Echo Park, a man who lived under aliases, tamed a mountain lion, and left his mark on one of Colorado's wildest corners. A place still named after him today. Who was this guy? So I think we're through the tough part. We're finally getting into dry dirt. I would have filmed going through all that mud, but honestly, I had to keep both my hands on the steering wheel. We're almost at Echo Park, where the hermit Pat Lynch lived. Pat's tale begins in the early 1800s. He didn't know his birth year. He didn't care. Born in Ireland during the brutal grip of the potato famine, he stole a loaf of bread to survive, then fled the consequences aboard a merchant ship. Slicing through the North and South Atlantic, his voyages ended in chaos when he was marooned on Africa's Ivory Coast. Stranded and alone, he claimed a native tribe took him in. He lived among them for years, married a tribeswoman, fathered children, until the sea's siren call pulled him away again. Fast forward to 1860. Pat washed ashore in America, and under the alias James Cooper, enlisted in the U.S. Navy as the Civil War erupted. He served on Union ships like the Alabama, North Carolina, and Sumter, each a player in that bloody conflict. During the seizure of a Confederate port in Florida, Pat's life took a brutal turn. Ordered to shove an undetonated bomb overboard, it exploded, shredding his legs. Honorably discharged, he could have walked away, but he didn't. Months later, he re-enlisted under his real name, Pat Lynch, and fought on for 2 more years before leaving the Navy in 1863. But the man wasn't done with war. He signed up again, this time with the U.S. Cavalry as a quartermaster, a posting that dragged him out west. And the West? It sank its claws into him. After his 3rd honorable discharge in 1870, Pat struck out for northwest Colorado, carving out a life in what's now Dinosaur National Monument. He roamed its caves, planted fruit trees, stashed jerky for miles like a survivalist legend. His signature? Massive carvings of sailing ships etched into rock overhangs, haunting echoes of his seafaring days. Some still linger today, weathered but defiant. Pat eventually settled in a cave in one of the most desolate, jaw-dropping spots in the American West, a place called Pat's Hole, where the Yampa and Green Rivers collide in what we now know as Echo Park. This was his kingdom, a rugged paradise where he thrived in solitude, yet craved some company. Locals knew him as the wild-eyed storyteller, spinning yarns too incredible to believe. He swore he supplied John Wesley Powell's expedition with 5 mountain goats as they floated through. He bragged of taming mountain lion that dropped deer at his door like offerings. He'd call out to it, and from a rocky perch, it would answer with a cry he swore was sweeter than any note Jenny Lind ever sang. That perch? It's called Jenny Lind Rock today, named for the 19th century opera star who dazzled America. Right behind me, Steamboat Rock, and this would have been an area that the Hermit of Echo Park would have frequented. This whole area right in here, you're in a giant bowl just surrounded by canyon walls on all sides, and it's this area that's called Echo Park. So this isn't Pat's cave. It's called Whispering Cave, but I'm sure he used it. It would be an excellent spot to get out of the wind, the rain, the snow. Heck, he probably even stored food in here. And really, it's big enough you could probably fit your favorite horse in it. A person that knew Pat described him as living like a coyote. I could see that living in caves like this. They also said he didn't like to hunt. He'd rather scavenge his meat. I'm sure the Fremont Indians used it too. They had a very large presence in this area. Pat Lynch was a walking paradox, eccentric, solitary, yet a regional legend who thrived in the harshest conditions. He spent his final years with neighbors before passing on February 24th, 1917. Today he rests in Lily Park near the Little Snake and Yampa Rivers. His veteran's headstone is a quiet testament to a life that defies belief. So I do know that Pat built a regular cabin out here, but I don't know that this is it. The Chew Ranch is a little further up the road, and this might be a structure that one of them lived in. But I could picture Pat living in something like this. You know, it's pretty crude, but it gets the job done. The backdrop for this cabin, it's something right out of the Wild West. I love it. It's so cool. With a backdrop like that over there, I could picture Pat riding right over the hill and dropping down in here. So we passed the Chew Ranch coming in here. It was in operation from 1900 to about 1949. The pictures with the kids exploring the cave were from this ranch. I say we look it over. Let's get some. This would have been like an early day RV. You know, they're actually pretty spacious inside, surprisingly. Oh, look. There's like an old shoe stuck in there. I think that's the brake. Some poor old homesteader he'd make his wife shove his shoe in between the tire and the wood to get the wagon to stop, and the shoe's still there. Poor lady. Wow. There's an old heater right there. Pat's cave was somewhere close to here. I read online that it's about 3 miles from the mouth of Pool Creek, and we're about 3 miles from the mouth of Pool Creek. So it's pretty neat how there's still equipment around here. I mean, look at that old plow there. I'm not too sure what this would have been. Maybe a chicken coop. I do see wire all over it, so this probably was a big chicken coop. Yeah, this is Dinosaur is a pretty unique monument because especially this area, you really don't get a lot of people coming out here. And that's mainly because the roads are absolutely terrible coming in here. They're all dirt roads. The way I came in, you take the Yampa Bench Road the whole way. It's kind of the back way to get in here. And it is terrible. I mean, you have to have a high clearance 4-wheel drive vehicle to do it, even in the summertime when the roads are good. I use that term lightly. Look at this backdrop they would have had for their house. Old stove. Look, there's like a nest up there. I don't care how much money you guys give me, I am not opening up that refrigerator. God only knows what could be in there. I've watched too many episodes of Unsolved Mysteries to open up that refrigerator. The old wood floors here. At some point, Ma got tired of the wood floors and decided to go with linoleum. Look, these have like a floral pattern on them. It's crazy. There's still stuff in here like they were trying to keep it in good shape for a little while. Coming in clean it. I don't know if people... I know ever since I've been coming here, this thing's been vacant. And that's probably the first time I came here was 15 years ago. That door's locked. I love the old style locks with the skeleton key. Yeah, I wonder what's behind that locked door there. That's a little creepy. Would have been a nice house to stay in. I mean, it's pretty roomy. You got 2 bedrooms, nice living room. And your view here is just... it's $1 million view. You have fresh water right here. You have a nice screened-in porch. I was wondering where the bathroom was in the house because I didn't see one in there. Well, I got my answer. A double-seater too. They liked the double-seaters back in the day. I guess you could just be more efficient that way. I didn't expect there to be a bed frame on the floor still. There's like old tackle in here, like old pulleys. Wonder what they were using those for. Obviously somebody was using it for a bedroom at one point, and every morning you'd walk out to this view. Ah, right now I can smell sagebrush. It smells so good. Spring is on its way. It's just not here quick enough. Not for me anyway. It's actually a pretty dang cold day out. Me and Riker have been hiking around for quite a while, looking for Pat's Cave. You know, kind of the crappy thing is the monument doesn't really tell you anything other than it's 3 miles from the mouth of Pool Creek. But there's canyons that take off everywhere, so we've hiked up quite a few. We've seen some absolutely beautiful country, but no Pat's Cave. And I don't know, you know, maybe there's nothing left to it. Supposedly in Pat's Cave there was still a bed frame he made. He had his initials carved on the wall. He also drew a boat, like an old sailing ship that he used to sail on. Apparently he did that in quite a few caves. But yeah, God, I thought it would just be so cool to find that. And I'm not done. I may be done for today because it's getting a little late in the day. And I still have a hell ride through crazy mud to get back out. Some beautiful country he lived in, I'll tell you that. There's so many possibilities where he could have been staying. There's all kinds of overhangs he could have been staying in. You know, that's the other thing. I don't know if it was an official cave or just an overhang. Well, I may have lost the battle, but I will win the war. I will find it. Just maybe not today. Oh, look. Some kind of bird. I don't know what that little guy is. He's a quick little guy, though. Look at him go. Hey, Riker, don't chase him. Riker's a good boy. He always listens. So why take that 3.5-hour slog through the mud? To chase the ghost of Pat Lynch, the sailor, the soldier, the hermit, who turned the forgotten corner of the West into his own untamed legacy. His story's out there, carved into the rocks, waiting for those brave enough to find it. Well, in case you're wondering, I made it back to camp, and the road was absolutely no better on the way back out. In fact, I think it was worse because the sun kind of thawed everything out. I'm going to say it was definitely worse. Anyway, thanks for joining me. There will be a sequel. I have to find that cave. Thanks for watching.